What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by two different things. Since we don't do any sponsorships here on the channel, I'll show them out real quick. The first is my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name After Sound, and the second is a new podcast I just launched on my YouTube music channel called Chasing Infinity. It is myself and ChatGPT as my AI co-host, and we dive into a bunch of different topics, short form conversations just like this. So check it out. Links in the description below, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, let's jump into the topic for today's video, which is land and why I believe we need to make a pivot on land. Now, before you have some knee-jerk reaction, I'm not saying let's upend the whole thing, and I'm not trying to screw over, landholders who've been around for a while and have been waiting patiently. That's not my point. The suggestion I'm going to offer is going to be something similar to what I had talked about previously when I gave like the scarecrow suggestion, right? Where we can have this consumable card that comes in that's created from all of the different natural resources. So I'd still like to see something like that. I'm not, going back on that idea, but I want to take it a step further because I think that there's an opportunity here for the team to take a step forward. And I know that this will probably be a little bit more, dev work. And obviously, we got one dev working on land right now, but I don't necessarily want to mess with anything from 1.7, right? Let's get 1.7 done, which as of now, we're hearing is going to be sometime early next year. Cryptomancer's working on land right now. He's trying to get 1.7, which contains the 3 additional resources, right? 3 additional natural resources. I think wood, iron, and stone or ore or something like that. So that will have a little bit more trading, a little bit more, utility for research and such. But I actually would like to see, and this may be something that would be worth coinciding with the new core set launch, or maybe something that happens like between now and like the core set launch if we decide to delay it or mini set, whatever. I'm just saying that this would be a significant launch for the game to add in a new round, right? So we already have the tactics round, which a lot of people looked at that and were kind of upset because it's like, well, land was supposed to offer this round, but tactics was and is cool, right? And I'm not even using it fully, but it's fun when you get to have it. It adds a little bit more agency in the game, and I think that we should add the land portion of that. Now, where does the land portion come in, right? Items and spells. Would that be before tactics, after tactics? I don't know. But that's something that I think we should start having the conversation of now and have the team design. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, land was created in order for us to have these items and spells, which we could use in game. So my pivot isn't necessarily let's change everything and blow it up. No, it's just I think that we should introduce certain elements before we were originally going to get them if you go and look at the original white paper, right? Land 2.0, 3.0, and beyond. So I made the suggestion on a live stream, and I wanted to make a video because I had a chance to think about it more and expand on it. But essentially, I think that we can start with one item, right? That was the whole premise of this. Like, we can start with one item, make it something basic, right? Just like I was saying, we can start with like a consumable card, but I think that would offer a little bit. That would probably be too much of a one-off, right? Again, I'm not against it, but it'd be too much of a one-off. Like, the team would be doing stuff very outside the scope for something that wasn't necessarily part of land. Whereas we do want to get towards building in items and spells in land and having a round for them. So putting in the work sooner rather than later for that, and not waiting for all the buildings and all the resources and all the trading and stuff like that, not waiting for that in order to get the game, right? Because at the end of the day, this all comes back to the trading card game. In order to get the game to the next level, I think is worth doing. And so I think the idea that I had for the item, right? So let's not even do any spells because we're only doing natural resources right now. We're not doing any magical resources, but make it like a barricade. And what that can be is something that you get to, during the tactics round or the items and spells round, you go in and you can actually put a little barricade around one of your units, right? So you get one per game or one per battle, and you can choose to use that barricade on any one of your units. And maybe that barricade has a certain amount of hit points, but somebody has to go through those hit points before they can actually do any damage to your unit. right? So again, it's something simple. It's like almost adding armor on, but it's in the form of a barricade, and it can only be created through land. So now land has this immediate thing, right? That it can provide utility to, that is part of the essence of what land is supposed to be. Now, again, I don't want to take anything away from the fact that the team, I believe the team is actually pivoting on land, which is great because they're talking about, research and giving utility to research through Glint and through all these other things. And that's fantastic, right? I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But when it comes to strictly looking at like the white paper, I just think to myself that there's an opportunity here to bring things into the game sooner rather than later, give land that utility that we all want it to have, and then slowly build upon it. Just like land in and of itself, right? The working of land is something now that has been a multi-year process, and we only have one resource. And hopefully in the next 6 months, we'll have 4 resources. But we're going to work our way up to 50 resources eventually, right? And we're going to work our way up from having like 3 different work sites to having actual buildings and being able to upgrade buildings and do all of that. So we can do all that simultaneously, just like we can do, or simultaneously along with actually offering benefits in game. We don't have to like only build up one side and then introduce it in game. I guess what I'm trying to say is, as we go along, let's get an item in game. And it doesn't have to be a barricade. That was just the simplest thing that I could think of, right? Like a wall that gets put up in front of, one of your, whichever unit makes the most sense to add additional hit points. And so if we can do that, then all of a sudden the synergy between land and, the trading card game, or the auto battler, I should say, starts to become very symbiotic, right? People will need that, and it'll give direct utility. It'll give value to land. So all the folks that are working land will need to go through and figure out, okay, am I building these, right? Am I building these, or am I harvesting resources, or am I going for SPS, right? So like there's a lot of different options. And keep in mind that like only 20% of land is actually being utilized right now. So maybe that could bring on more land. And even if it doesn't, what it'll do, even if we only stay at 20% of land utilization, we end up getting less people dipping into the SPS pool, and less people going for grain, and less people going for all the other resources, or less people going for, actually building out these barricades, right? Or whatever you want to call them. So in a way, like it becomes much more specialized, and hopefully the scarcity of each of those different tasks, right? The specialization in each of those tasks starts to give it actual value. And if it does give it value, and the price of grain goes up, or the price of XYZ goes up, well, more land might come online, and then all of a sudden we have 2 authentic games that are symbiotic with one another, and it's like we get to start the land game significantly earlier than what we were expecting, because 2.0, like I said, it just seems so far away. 2.0 in all of its glory, I should say. And if I'm being honest, I love the idea of glamour. So don't get me wrong, I'm very bullish on the idea of glamour. I just don't know how much utility that's going to, provide. I don't know what the appetite and the demand for cosmetics and skins are. I hope it's great. I hope it's high, right? Don't get me wrong. And I trust the team's going to do something cool and fun and unique with it. But in terms of moving us along in that direction, right? The pivot on land that I'm saying is, let's not build up only one part of this and then have like items and spells being creatable in land 3.0 and then actually usable in game in land 4.0. Like give us an item now, and then like in a year give us a spell, right? Like if we're able to slowly and steadily work our way through that, Cryptomancer is a beast. I think that he'll be able to knock things out, hopefully relatively quickly once he's able to get his, wrap his head around the code. Because keep in mind, again, for those who may not know, he's stepping into the position from the previous person who was working on this, right? So it's like you have to go in and learn how somebody else created something, make it your own way, and then start building from there. So that's my idea for land. I just want to put it out there into the world. Again, not that we can really, press anything or push anything from a proposal standpoint, but I want to put this idea out there. And if it gains traction and people think it's good, then maybe it's something that, as the team is going through and trying to plan things out, it ends up being something that they pivot on. But there's still a lot to be seen, right? I still want to see how the Glint stuff works out. And I'm not expecting any of this in the next 3 to 6 months, right? My timeline for this will be sometime maybe in like the back half of next year that could potentially coincide with the launch of the next core set, right? So if they're going to revamp the game once again, just like they did when Rebellion came out, to add this new the ambush round as well as the tactics round, well, let's maybe coincide that and get items and spells in the mix. And then all of a sudden, if they have the infrastructure for that built out in the game already, well, then it's just a matter of time, and that until we slowly start adding more of these items and spells and make it a bigger part of the game, right? But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, open to you guys tearing this up and making it, or poking holes in it and making it your own and running with it. I just trying to put the ideas out there and see what other people can come up with. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.